Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. Got a new camera set up so you can actually see my face sometimes. Today I'm working on a class from Altenew called Polychromatic, and this is one of the cards that they made that I'm going to give a shot to. And I'm really happy with how it came out, and it's super easy to make. Goes together pretty quick. So let me show you how it's made. So we're going to do a little bit of tone-on-tone stamping to start with, and I'm using the Altenew Beautiful Day layering stamp set. And this flower has 4 layers, but I'm only going to be using 2 of the layers. So I'm going to start with my, um, I'm going to start with my second layer. And so on my Misty, I've got a sticky pad because I'm going to be stamping off the edge and I don't want my magnet to get in the way of that stamping. And so, although I'm not going to be stamping all the way to the top, so I can do that. But I like the sticky pad, the little sticky pad in the Misty. It's just kind of helpful. And then I'm going to be stamping kind of off the edge, but kind of in different directions. And I'm going to cover up to about that much or so of my card. I'm going to leave the top blank and and that's because I'm going to cut it off anyway. And because I'm doing tone on tone, I'm using hydrangea and ultraviolet. So I'm going to use ultraviolet for my outline layer and the hydrangea for this, what's actually the second layer of the stamp. And see if we can get enough of a contrast. I don't want a huge contrast. I just kind of want a tone on tone look. So we're going to give it a good stamp, good coverage of ink. And let's see, and it's almost the same color as the paper, which is exactly what I want. Yes, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. And then I'm just going to move the stamp around into various positions on the paper and stamp over and over. Okay, so there's the that's actually the second of 4 layers on my stamp. So the first layer is this solid layer, and then the second layer is this slightly more detailed layer. And then I'm going to use my outline layer, and we're going to stamp this in ultraviolet, which is just a little bit darker purple. But again, I'm going for that tone on tone look, so I just want to use ink colors that are very similar to the paper color. Because I'm not doing all of the layers, I don't care if it's exactly lined up. I want it, relatively close, but if it's not perfect, I don't care that much. Now I'm going to take my cardstock, and I've got a die that says happy, and I'm going to put that on my cardstock and just kind of up here towards the top, just right on top, and I'm going to cut that out. I'm going to save all my little pieces because I've got a card blank that's just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to put this on, but I'm going to cut across here and here. And the easiest way to do that is to use your paper trimmer, because I want to get it in exactly the same spot on both sides. I think I'm going to cut right at the top of the Y. I think I'm going to cut right there. So we're going to cut from the edge over. I'm going to cut this way, there, and then the top will just pull away. Okay. And I actually did not need to stamp really that top flower, but that's okay. And then this is going to go on here, and I've got a happy cut in purple that's going to go in there, but I need to replace the my the bottom loops of the P, and the Y. I'm going to save my happy because I can use that for something else. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece on just right there at the bottom. Then I'm going to put my 3 center pieces in. And then this is that same die I just cut in a dark purple kind of a mirror card. And then I cut it once more in a white cardstock and layered them up so I get a little bit of height on that. But let's start with this. And you want to make sure you get around all of these little pieces. I'm going to take my Y, center of my Y, and put right back in there. And wet glue is good because then you can kind of move it around and get it in the right spot. So I'm going to glue my happy in there. And I'm just going to set my plates on there for something heavy while I'm letting that glue set. And I'm going to save this happy, and I might even save that scrap just because I can use that happy sentiment. It's just a pretty purple happy. We'll save that for another project. And now I need birthday. So I've just got a piece of white card, and I've got a little stamp that says birthday. And I'm going to stamp it in ultraviolet. I'm just going to trim this down. Now my happy is all in place, and I'm just going to put my birthday on some foam right there. And we're all done. It's a fun technique that I learned in my class, Alta class, called Polychromatic. This is more monochromatic, if you ask me, but this is one of the, they did a very similar sample, and I really liked the look of it, so thought I'd give it a try. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So thanks for watching.